Welcome back to CEO.CA. Our viewers will know that we've recently had White Gold on to speak with the CEO. Well, this time we've brought on VP of Exploration Dylan Langille to give us a little bit more color, a little bit more deeper insight into what's exciting about this junior story. Dylan, as we know, you've joined White Gold back in May of this year, out of being a core member of the discovery team for the Great Bear project. Walk us through, that significance of that project first. And what about White Gold and Yukon made the opportunity here so compelling for you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on for the interview. Great Bear, as many people know who follow the industry, was a great discovery for Canada and the world. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of that team. I joined back in January of 2019. And I spent the last 7 years working on that project and that deposit and growing it ultimately to what it is now today. So it was a phenomenal opportunity. I had the chance to work with a phenomenal team mentored by great geologists and great leaders. But with White Gold, I saw an opportunity to advance my career to another level. And what drew me specifically to White Gold was the sheer scale of the opportunity. It's in a jurisdiction that is mining friendly, and they've put together a portfolio of properties that covers a really significant area of the Yukon with the Klondike Gold District. But what really caught my eye and what really made me join the White Gold team was the foundation that they had with the White Gold assets and the deposits. So they already had an existing resource base, and I thought that was really important.
Mm-hmm. And the size, as you mentioned, of what White Gold owns up in the Yukon is significant. I think over 40% of the district. Is that correct?
Yeah, about 40% of the district they own in the Klondike district.
Mm-hmm. And so what are you doing with the team to essentially work on growing the deposit if there's still room?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, we announced a resource update. So we took the deposit from 2.3 million ounces to 3 million ounces. So now we're sitting at 1.73 million ounces indicated and about 1.27 million ounces inferred. This represents about a 44% and a 13.4% increase respectively. And it's a substantial increase. It's about 680,000 ounces that we've added. And what's so exciting about this addition is that it came off the back of no drilling. What we did, we had some really smart geologists prior to my arrival who had worked on a new interpretation of the deposit, and it allowed for including drill results that weren't previously captured in the model. So it's really impressive. We're seeing a lot more continuity in the mineralization panels, which results in a lot more confidence in the deposit. And what's really important about this as addition to the resource is the average grade has remained pretty strong. And the ounces have grown, but this speaks to the quality of the mineralization. So we're excited to get this drill program finished this year and see what addition we can make on top of this 3 million ounces. In terms of growth, I think there's still significant opportunity to expand the deposit because it opens, all 4 deposits remain open along strike and at depth.
Well, you're at the camp right now, as we can see here on camera. Can you share a little bit more detail on what you're working on for the drill program when it comes to key objectives?
Yeah. So this year for 2025, we've kind of got a few streams of work going on, specifically with drilling. We're targeting key areas that have been identified, and the focus of this drill program has been a high-grade breccia that resides in the footwall of the deposit. It's previously been drilled, but it's been underexplored. So they didn't really go back and follow up on a hole that intersected it at depth. And the hole that did intercept it historically had an average grade of 4 grams per ton over 12 meters. So that became the basis of our program for 2025. But there's actually a few other things that we're working on. We identified some mineralization in the hanging wall that contributed to our updated resource estimation. But those mineralization panels aren't as continuous and as filled in as we'd like them to be. And what we started to notice when we looked through the historical data was that there's a significant amount of drill core that remains unsampled. So we're going through and we're interpreting that and seeing what opportunity exists to grow the hanging wall mineralization as well. And what's exciting about that is it's going to change what is currently classified as waste into ore, and it's going to improve the economics of the deposit, your strip ratio. So it's an exciting opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Well, beyond your primary metal here, gold, can you talk to us more about the critical mineral potential in your land package?
Yeah, so our first press release for 2025 in terms of exploration was actually on what we called phase 1 of exploration, which is our critical metals stream. And that's focused on our copper, moly, tungsten targets. And while we have a whole portfolio of them in our company, what we did was we narrowed it down to 3 targets across the district. One of them is 30 kilometers north of the casino deposit, and that property is the Peddler property in the White Gold portfolio. And there's a target known as Bridget. And this target represents a nice, broad, wide 3 kilometer by 3 kilometer copper moly signature. And it presents nicely as a porphyry deposit at depth. So that was target number 1 for our critical metals portfolio. There's 2 more targets that we identified early on, and one is way up to the north on our Nolan property, and the other is kind of right in the middle of our portfolio on the Looney property. Again, both of these targets represent broad scale critical metals, geochemistry and soil anomalies that are broad. They're not just streaks across the map. So what we did this year is we ran geophysics surveys. So we ran gradient and dipole IP surveys across all 3 properties.
Okay. Well, it's always a treat to have exploration leads on our program. So Dylan, thank you for making the time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.